This is part 2 of the introduction or introducing the future of man. But of course, this has a different title to it because of the subject matter that I didn't get a chance to get to in that audio, but I will be able to give that to you in this one. Dedicated a little time out here in my studio now, trying to make things isolated where you can hear me pretty good. Got my microphones together, got my red pills laid out in front of me. So, we can go ahead and get this started. And as I said in the first one, this has a lot to do with relationships and marriage. It does. And you can apply it to your friendships. And this is important because our life is surrounded by these particular people or groups. And it's vital to us. Your family is vital to you. Okay? And so sometimes we tolerate bad behavior and we oversee it. You know, sometimes we have a thing where we say, well, my family or my friendship is bad, so it's normal. You know, we'll say, well, you know, everybody's family have this type of issue going on in their family. Or when it comes to your marriage, you have some men say, well, you know, that's just the way that it is. Happy wife, happy life. Hum glum, blah, 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 right? While they're walking backwards and running to the wall at the same time. But a lot of this is because we overlook the factors. We overlook the seeded problems that we encounter that we can actually change. We can change our realities. We can change our struggles if we understand the basics. And oftentimes we don't. We are ostracized for thinking for ourselves. We are talked bad about when we decide to do something for ourselves. If we abandon our family members, you know, if we don't talk to certain friends and we stop talking to them, now we're this evil person. If we decide not to engage in a marriage, now we're this person who's scared of marriage. You know, not us, but I'm talking about people with shaming language how to douse men about. Okay, now we're this grown man, or you can say this grown boy in a man's body, as what some women say when they have their so-called social media outlets trying to douse men and shame men for men being themselves. Oftentimes you may hear a lot of women or other people say that when a man plays a video game or when he's out there golfing or doing whatever he can for himself, or he's hanging out with his boys, that he haven't matured yet, that he haven't grown up yet. Okay? And so those shaming language is meant to program the man. It's meant to make this man think that him being himself is wrong. Because you are free to think as you should, you're wrong. Because you're free to have peace and quiet in your home, you're wrong. Because you're not accepting the lowest lane hanging fruit and get married to leftovers, you are considered as wrong. Okay? Because you decide to spend your time however you decide to spend it, because it is your time, it is your life, and it is your time. You are shamed, you're talked about, you're considered as everything but good or right, or a respectable individual. You say, why is this? You know, the big question is, why do people think that way? Why is it that there are often more people who are illogical in their sensible respect of you and your individuality versus those who, again, who are not? Okay, why is it such a distinction? Why is it that why is there a problem between you and other people, understanding that you have your own life and your life need to be valued, taken care of? Your time is precious, right? Because there's something else with Agent Smith. There's a reason why in The Matrix, when all the individuals was taken over by Agent Smith, there's a reason why. They all had something in common with Agent Smith in their head, in their lifestyle. That was a connection to the Matrix that allowed Agent Smith to overtake them. Okay? And that's why Neo wasn't connected. You know, that's why he didn't have anything to do with it. You say, well, what about the little girl? Well, little girl and the rest of them, they needed to get stronger. You know, she didn't know herself. That's why they brought her into the mix. Okay? She didn't know too much of herself. She still needed to understand life. A lot of children are people who are, younger than 21, 20, 19, 18. They haven't lived a lot. They haven't lived enough to understand the dynamics of maturity. Not enough to experience the world enough to say that they know a lot of things. Now, they could know a lot of things, but they don't know everything. Okay, there's still more to go. There are some who may think that they're able to get married and they know what life is all about. They try to be philosophers at the age 20, 21. Good luck with that. It's a joke. They would never talk to their 21-year-old self and get advice from their 20-year-old self while they're 40, 30, 32, or even 32. Okay? But here's the factor that I'm going to bring to you, and I'm going to go ahead and spill it and give it to you. It's called misery loves company. And I've talked about this before on one of my other audio logs, but it goes deeper. There's a reason why this is important that you need to know, because it arranges in multiple avenues of your life. It's not just a group of people that you don't know about who is miserable, unhappy, and unadjusted. Okay. Oftentimes it's people that you are around. It's people who you marry. It's people who you decide to build a contract with. It's your associates. Misery loves company. See, what happens is this. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you're driving down the road and you're on a busy highway, and all of a sudden a hornet stings you in the back. You're just walking. You're just driving, right? And everything is cool. Music's playing, and some of you got a cigarette in your hand. You know how you do. And all of a sudden you feel a piercing pain in your back. It's mind-numbing pain right in your back, right in the middle of your back. And you know somebody's stabbing you back there. It's a bug. It's a hornet that was in your chair, and you don't have a choice. Look, here's your choice. Some people, they would choose to lose control of the vehicle and they will slide off the road. They'll hit somebody and the collision will happen. Okay, the car flips over and it's no good. Okay. Or here is the self-discipline. This is what is very least for most people, is that you will sit real still. Your eyes will be filled with pain and tears as you are carefully trying to pull over to the side of the road. Okay, then after the car stops, you put on your parking brake. Then you can jump out of the passenger seat, run around and throw your shirt off and smack your back and all type of stuff. Okay, then you can pretend like everything's not okay on the side of the road where people driving past, be like, dang, what's this person doing? You're flopping around and jumping all over the place and swinging because you got this hornet that stung you in the back. It's not a good feeling. Okay, the road of life can be like that when you're driving and you decide to sign up with someone who takes power over you. Now, here's the key. And this is a rule that I want you to apply to yourself, because there's many people who wants this, especially when they're not used to it. It's called power. Never let a man have power over you. Period. Okay, you are to fight for your time in your life. You are to fight for your freedom. You fight for your voice. You fight for your children. You fight for what you know is to be right. You fight for the future. You fight for healthier foods. You fight for healthier schools. You do everything that you can to make sure that no man has power over you. Because in any form, shape, or fashion, when a man has power over you, he can use you. You end up in a compromised position. You end up driving down the road of life, and this hornet stabs you right in your back so hard where you can either lose control, and some people do. Some people will lose control. People who don't have self-control, people who, what I tell you about, don't have no instincts. Those who allow themselves to be programmed like Agent Smith, those who allow themselves to be manipulated by the system, by the programming, by the environment. Okay. They will lose control because they're not used to that situation. They didn't know what was going to happen. They did what? They had faith. Oh, there it is. They had belief. There it is. They believed. Okay. Or they trusted the enemy and didn't know that that person was their enemy, even though they've been warned of the enemy a long time ago. Your enemy is when you limit yourself. Your enemy is the contracts. Your enemy is when you allow yourself to be your enemy by not studying and learning what you're getting yourself into or what you're signing up for. You're the enemy because you don't get the right information. So you sign yourself, well, she would never hurt me. She would never do that. She would never do this. So here you are in a marriage that you are powerless, or a contract, whatever the situation may be. You can't jump off the bridge. You can't move over. You can't stop. Okay, you got to keep on going, but you're being jabbed in the back. Okay, so you end up stuck right there in that position because you allow this person to have power over you. You allow them to. Now, I'm not saying that according to the Hornet being in the car, of course, you didn't allow that to happen. You may not know what's in there. You just end up sitting back and driving. Next thing you know, son of a, hell no. Right? You don't know that. You didn't anticipate it. But what if I told you that if you listen to my audio logs, if you're listening to what I tell you on often, if you're listening to some other red pill, if you're listening to the world around, if you listen to people when they're talking to you ahead of time and saying, listen, watch out. You got power to think about it before you jump on board with nonsense, traditional, archaic, which don't exist today type of ideology, which is failing in the West because the West don't line up to tradition anymore. Because of the lifestyle, according to my audio I just made for you, introducing the future of man. If you haven't looked at that, you need to. For some of you who tried to skip the classes, go back to grade 1, then you go back to grade 2 over here. Okay. So what ends up happening is this. And here's another thing that I have for you. Okay. With misery that loves company. The point is, it comes to take your peace away from you because it doesn't have any peace. For example, you have a person who's, how can I put this for everyone to understand? Check this out. Okay, I brought this up before and I'm going to bring it again because it's relevant to this. Cain and Abel, for example, in your so-called Bible, which never happened, but the story, it's a story. All right, get over it. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to help the story to give you the story. So you're Abel and there's people around you who are Cain, right? And everything's working out okay in your life. Or you having a picnic and you're sitting there and you're reading your Kindle or your book or something like that. And you're enjoying your fruits and vegetables. You're fine, right? Or you may be enjoying your family or whatever's going on with you. And there are people around you who don't mind working 10, 11 hours a day. They allow themselves to be powerless by signing up to allow men to take control over them. Okay. They don't mind wasting their time because they really don't have they don't cherish their time anyway. They don't cherish themselves. They don't make the men's to meditate. They don't make men's to take a walk, go on vacations, take a breather, spend time with their kids, teach their kids properly. All they want to do is be a puppet of the industries. They want to be a puppet of the state. They want to be a puppet of their organization. They want to be a puppet of the corporation. So they're there as an automaton robot person who is not battling against anything but themselves. Realistically, when stress comes, when burden comes, when frustration comes, when life knocks at their door, when their child is sick, when they need to be at home, when they are overly exhausted, when they work themselves to dissipation. Okay, now they can't think straight. Now all they can do is just bicker, complain, argue. Bags under their eyes. There's their pimples everywhere. Hairs are matted. Breath stink. That story. And they're walking around like zombies, literally. And they make mistakes because they allow themselves to be pushed and work that way. You think Morpheus is joking. You think I'm playing with you. You think I'm playing with you. As an entrepreneur, I've been around and I've seen these people for myself. And sometimes it's so obvious where I got to ask them, are you okay? I can tell that they're wore out. I'll see them the day before and they got a bright face. Eyes are glistening and everything. And they're smiling and hair look all okay. But when they are wore out and overworked, their hair is matted, their eyes is looking down, they look droopy, it look like they're sleepwalking, or they upset at something, and something's eating them, right? And I'd be like, are you okay? I said, no, I had to get up early in the morning. I haven't gotten enough sleep. I'm working all week. And like, oh, I just don't have time. 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 Right? And I put two and two together. I'm like, so it's that case again. It's that case. Then, of course, that's how I ended up with this audio, by jotting down and doing my observation. Like, okay, I get it. I get it. I see what's happening. Okay. But it's that person's fault. You know why? Because they allowed power to be usurped. They allow themselves to be in a position where a man have taken power over them. There is something that some people say, and it's true, about organizations, about some bosses, some supervisors, some place, that they say, oh, you're just a number. Okay. Oftentimes when people tell you that happened to them, most times you don't see them again because they quit. They go somewhere else. They don't have a voice. They don't speak up enough about it. They just go somewhere else. They don't fight it back. But you don't want to be that person in that position and all of a sudden say, oh, you know what? It's true. Because by then it's too late. Because it's not enough voices. It's not enough people to say, you know what? No, I need to be at home. I got to have time for myself. No, I need a vacation. No, I need to do this. I need to fight for my time and I need to fight for my life. I wrote something down, and it's actually a reminder for myself, but I'm going to share it with you as well. And if I didn't put that on something else. Okay, I did write it down. Peace, freedom, and time is your life, not money. Peace, freedom, and mind. Peace, freedom, and time. Time belongs to you. You can't get that back. Peace is a peace of heart, a peace of your mind, the peace that everything is going to be okay, that people are working it out for you. You got a support team. You got helpers that should you get into a tough situation, they will help you. So you have a peace of mind there. Freedom is the freedom to make choices, to decide what you need to do for yourself, to decide your own fate or your own future manipulations and functions. All right. So you're free to choose. You're free to decide. You're free to go where you need to go. You're free, if things don't operate properly, to adjust yourself, to jump over here, to maneuver yourself on a different location. There are things you can do. OK. And your time, again, the most valuable thing that you can't get back. Whenever you get into a system where if you jump off, you're done for, where you're like on a cruise ship. There's no life rafts. There's no what do you call those things? Those lifesavers and nothing like that. You just jump right into the water because you realize the boat is sinking or the boat is in turmoil or there's fire on the boat. Whatever's going on the boat, you realize being on the boat is jeopardy towards your peace, freedom, and your time. But the only option you have is what some people will say, well, if you don't want to do the job, I'll have somebody else do it and get rid of you. And now you're out of a job. Now you're in the unemployment line, or now you're suffering. Now you're unmarried. You just got divorce robbed because now you're paying alimony and child support because you jumped off the boat. But you should have knew what the boat was about to begin with. But it's not just you. The problem is not enough people are coming together to fight Goliath back. Not enough people are thinking straight enough to say, wait a minute, this ain't right. This ain't right. You want me to work what? You want me to do what? Wait a minute. What about my children? And what jobs would be like, oh, I don't care about your child at home. Just go ahead and stay a little later. Go ahead. Work on a Sunday. Work Sunday all day. As a matter of fact, if we can, let's just make you work from Sunday to Saturday. And that's it. All you get is this 30-minute break all week. OK, and then there's some people, OK, I'll do it. OK. Yes, sir. I'll do it, sir. Sure. OK. And let your child never see you. OK, just send it to the babysitter all week. You'll be fine. Right. Well, if that's the case, then, of course, America will be a whole lot better than that. And we wouldn't have such distortion and troubles that we having in this nation, if that were the case. But the reason why things are getting bad, the reason why the decline of marriage, besides the the false entitlement of most women, okay, and their ability to do so because the courts is supporting them. The list goes on, okay, and the decline of health, the decline of the possible future of any prosperous family creation of the West, okay, is due for the fact that there is no proper nurturing at home. Mom and dad is always gone. Or it might be one parent at home and that's it. Not enough for the parent, not enough for the child. Child needs both parents. Need testosterone and estrogen, masculine and feminine energy. All right. So it's a decrease. Now you have people who argue about it, who say, oh, that's not true. I was raised up in a single parent home. You 1 out of a billion. What you say is pointless. It's pointless. You 1 out of a billion people, and the billions of people outweigh you. The majority of people who are raised up like that ends up in a distorted situation. That's the majority. You may be the minority who have succeeded, but it's not all about you. It's about someone else. It's about someone else. These audios that I teach, that I give out to you in here, as I call it, the Academy of Wowmen, or the Academy of Wowmen, okay, for some of you who can't hear. In this Academy of Wowmen, okay, it's not about Morpheus, it's about everybody. I don't look at this as, oh, I'm trying to help Morpheus. If that's the case, I wouldn't have to sit here and speak like this. Morpheus I have my black jacket on. I got my shades. I'm already flying. I'm out of the matrix. I'm going where I need to go. So why would I sit here and speak to you as if it's, as if I'm programmed to do so? How about that? Huh? As if I got this major organization who is prodding me to do so, forcing me to do so. When I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart, I'm doing this for you, for everyone. So therefore, someone who needs this can reach. There's going to be a Neo somewhere that needs to hear my message. Maybe not you, but it might be for them. So therefore, why would I be thinking that way? Okay. And not teach you or give you any examples that you shouldn't be thinking that way as well. Say, well, it's not me, so it don't matter. Yeah, I survived, so I don't care. What? Who cares? What? I can say that about myself. Who cares about Morpheus? If I talk like that in the nonsense, I'll say the same thing. Who cares? Who cares? There is somebody else who isn't me, who is going through a situation, who needs this information. So I may be 1 out of a million who have survived, but there are others who are suffering more than me. And if you want the fruits of the labor, look at your country. Look at the future. It tells you everything that you need to know. Therefore, we have to get out of self and start putting other people first. We got to get out of self and have a broader vision in mind. Like you may be sitting down eating spaghetti, okay? And you might like lemon in your spaghetti, or what do you call that? Parsley flakes, right? And some croutons. Right. That may be what you like. Are you eating in that moment? But while you're sitting there eating, there are thousands of other people who aren't eating like that. They're eating something probably worse than what you're eating. Are they eating something that they have no choice but to eat? Okay. Like kids. Sometimes kids, when they with their mother at home, mothers will give them any old daggone thing. They will put practically anything in their face as long as the child wanted it. So you may be eating salad. You may be trying to take care of yourself. While you are eating something that's good, somebody else, a child, is eating something that you would say, well, it's not forced on the child if the child wanted. No, it's forced on them because the child will know the child's hurting itself because it's sweet, whatever that they're eating, definitely when it's junk. So therefore, it's still someone who's eating something that is less than what you're eating. So because their parents will get the information, they're not taking it seriously. They are affected, whereas you are not affected. You get the lesson. They don't get the lesson. So the more the voices are out there, the more you got conscious people, the more there are people who aren't selfish. Okay. Like myself, who was saying, well, I may be 1 out of a million, but there are a million of them. Okay. A lot more than me who is going through something. Okay, then there's no more argument. There's no need to say, well, my marriage is successful. My marriage is successful. I've been together for 10 years and everything been okay. Yeah, that's you, Dr. Joe and Dr. Jane. That's y'all genius creation over there. There are a lot of people that aren't geniuses like you. So when you bring that argument up, it's pointless. It don't matter. That's why I say nobody cares, because it won't matter on the scale of balance. On the scale of balance, you are a feather compared to the results of America, compared to the results that there are children who aren't going to have a future, are going to have a struggling future because of the lack of information and concerned parents and support system. Okay, so with this information, it will do well for them. It will support them, even if it don't support you in your perfect circle. All right, just get it, got it, good, get it straight. So anyway, getting back to that and tethering this to a relationship such as marriage, long-term relationship, friends, and family. Okay, when you let a man, or I'm not saying a man as far as a male, don't get it straight. Okay, I got an 80-20 rule. Most of what I talk about is for men. Okay, I'm not talking about a man. I'm talking about human, an individual, a person. Okay, when you're in a relationship with them and they have power over you, okay, life has a variation of struggles. And when it comes at you, you're going to be driving on the highway of life. You're on the road of life and it stabs you right there in the back. You can't do nothing. And if you don't have no self-control of yourself, if you don't know your time, if you don't know how to deal with tough situations, like when they overexhaust themselves, they overwork. They don't give, and they don't give themselves any room to do whatever they love to do, whether it might be shooting pool, go for a boat ride, go to the beach, go spend time with their kids, go walk their dog, whatever the case is, whatever that they enjoy doing. If they don't use that, if they don't say that's a priority, what I tell you, your peace, your freedom, and your time, if that's not number one and they put everything else first, when pressure comes, when they are on the job or wherever that they are, okay, they will lose their top. Most of them, they become Agent Smith. They become a vampire, a social vampire. Okay, where like, here we go. Like Cain and Abel, while you're at the park, you enjoying yourself, they'll be looking at you and wanting to attack you. What that means is they will say, well, because I'm suffering, why isn't they suffering? Why aren't they going through what I'm going through? So what they would do is they will purposely come to you and try to invent. They will try to create a dilemma or chaos. They will try to create a scenario to take your peace away, to take your peace, freedom, and time away from you because they are suffering. This is how Agent Smith worked. Watch the movie. Watch the movie. This is the connection that happened when Agent Smith was able to touch somebody and in sync with them, to synchronize with them. They had something in common. It's called the lack of self, the lack of self-love, the lack of self-time, because they didn't honor their peace, their freedom, and their time. So they didn't have power to control themselves. They didn't have power to outpower Agent Smith. They weren't free from the matrix. When you have that appreciation of yourself, your time, and your value of who you are, you're not going to be manipulated. You're going to break free from the matrix. Therefore, Agent Smith can't get you. You're not connected to the computer world. You're not connected to dumb phones, as I've told you before in Introducing the Future of Man, that recent audio. The same. Right? So therefore, when that social vampire comes around because, oh, I'm miserable, I'm lifeless, I work every day, I'm exhausted, I'm not happy. And they try to come around, you can bounce them off the wall like a basketball or a tennis racket. Bounce them off the wall and walk away. But if you go along with the program and you don't understand that everywhere you are, there is a system to make you weaker. Everywhere you are, there's a system which isn't going to benefit you in the end, because it's all about who wants to take power over you and control you. When you don't pay attention that even social contracts such as marriages, long-term relationships, eventually it'll get to that point because that person is going to be an undercover Agent Smith over time. He is that person that was on the ship, on the Logos with Trinity and Neo. When he was standing there, Neo didn't understand who this person was. He was like, wait a minute, who is this? And Agent Smith kept giving him hints to say, hey, it's me. I'm just in a different meat sack, basically what he was saying. Okay? And then eventually he ended up needing to fight him. That's the same when you are in long-term relationships or marriages with people or friendships. They are hiding. They are hiding the fact that they never had self-control. They are hiding the fact that they are internal vampires, that they just need somebody to leech off of, or they need your energy because they don't have energy of self. And you think you're being kind and nice. Oh, I'm just helping this person. This is my friend. Oh, I'm helping her out. I just feel sorry for her. I just can't help it. You think I'm just going to pull my hand down in the mud and pull them up because they just stranded here. Their car is spinning in the mud. Let me drag them out of it. And you think you're doing just fine. I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about metaphysically. I'm talking about concerning this situation. Some of you who's off track here. I'm not talking about don't be concerned about people around you. Don't help people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about when you abide by contracts or people in the traditional realm of marriage, long-term relationship, and some friendships, who those people have potential to vampire off of your life because you allow them to take power over you. You can have friends. You can have people who you can help and be around and socialize as long as they don't try to overtake you and take your peace, your freedom, and your time. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. But when they do try to do that and you allow yourself to be usurped and to be used by them taking power over you because you signed up for the contracts, okay, eventually those people, again, they are those Agent Smiths underneath that person, where you don't realize it till 14 years later and they look differently to you. You don't realize that until pressure comes and that friend shows you that they really aren't your friend. They'll backstab you. They'll talk about you. They'll try to take your means. They'll try to take your man or your woman. They'll try to take your woman behind your back. They'll do all sorts of unnecessary negative things because things aren't right in their life. They want things not to be right in your life, which is the entire goal of, the entire goal of a person taking advantage over you or power over you is that eventually they're going to want to take your energy as well because they don't have any energy of their own. They don't have a life of their own. They don't have they don't have a goal of their own. So whenever they have power over you, when their resources go dry, they're coming for you. They're coming for you. They're coming for you. When that person can't entertain themselves, when you were in a marriage with a wife and she's talking about, oh, I'm not happy, or I'm bored, or there's nothing to do here, or I want girls night, I want to do this, you better watch out. Because if she cannot supply that for herself, the positive way, I'm not talking about she can go out there to girls night out and go hang. Yeah, girls do that all the time, but she'll end up on somebody else's arms. Okay, you should not allow that because you end up divorced a year later and she'll be with that guy who you allowed her to flip-flop with that very first day because you said, okay, honey, you want to be happy? Go ahead, take a trip to the Cancun. Go ahead. Oh, I never been to California this time of year. And yeah, okay, go ahead. Miami Beach sound real good, baby. Can I go down there to Miami Beach? I know you busy and you got work to do over here, but I don't want to be a hindrance and I need a break. Okay, honey. Okay, you can go. You can take a week vacation down there in Miami Beach. And why she's down there, okay, she will find her connection because there's no such thing as a single woman. There's no such thing as a woman who's going to do it all by herself. It's rare that a woman's going to do that by herself because most of them are scary. Most of them, I didn't say all, most women are scary. So they're not going to take a trip out of town all by themselves. Do you understand? Okay, they're not going to go out of town, go several places all by themselves without an entourage or a group of other girls. And most likely those groups of other girls are going to be toxic vampires who's going to turn her eventually. Okay, and they would turn her and you don't know that is happening and you won't know that's going to happen until years later or months later. Or for some lucky guys, instantaneous. As soon as she come back, she's like, I'm done. Throw her bags on the floor. You don't know what happened and she's leaving you. And here comes a divorce. And here comes your broken heart. I didn't know. Because you didn't know she was an undercover Agent Smith. Agent Smith got a hold of her and transformed her to be exactly like Velma. That's what Agent Smith do. So bring this back to the metaphysical and the reality realm here. Okay? The idea is this. No matter where you go, whether it's your job, whether it's your friendship, your marriage, or your long-term relationship, you got to be careful because there are people who are undercover Agent Smith. And when they don't have control over themselves, they don't concern themselves with their own peace, freedom, and time. they're coming after yours. That's why some people are like, God, I'm working 9 hours a day, 9.5. I want you to work 9.5 hours a day and try to make it happen. Or God, I'm working 9 to 5 all the time. I'm just so exhausted. Why do you got all this freedom? Why are you able to go home to your kids? Why are you able to be happy? Why are you able to be free to eat what you want? I just can't. Okay. I'm going to try to make sure that you suffer just like me so that way I can stop complaining. That's how the vampire works. That type of vampire, anyway. It's like a cancer, it just spreads. So when they are manipulated and amalgamated, sick in the mind and retard, robotic thinking, guess what happens? And especially when they have power over you, here's the kicker and here's the shebang. They will kick you. They will come for you. They will transform their energy to your energy. They will come to you like Agent Smith and say, oh, I'm suffering. I want you to suffer just like me, and touch you one way or the other. And the way that they touch you is through contract, through force, through bait and switch. They'll bait you first. Oh, I'll never hurt you. Oh, I never cheat on you. I never do this. I'm all together. I'm done partying. I did all my donkey dunk. Well, some of them are true because they did all their donkey dunk. That's why the relationships and marriages are dry after 14 years and the husband don't want to see her. Anyhow, and they gain weight, 50 pounds. Listen, men, the tall tale sign when the woman start gaining weight after you marry her after 4 or 5 different years, okay, she did something in her past. It's called donkey dunking. That was too much. Oh, that's not true, Morpheus. Listen, if I wanted to, and I can put it out here, if I wanted to, I can be a scientist and I can be a doctor and I can be an anatomy professor. So you can't come to me and talk to me about that BS. I know what I'm talking about. The tall tale signs and results of living a bad lifestyle of donkey dunking and not treating yourself with concern and care is when they start gaining weight, getting sick, getting pock marks, stretch marks, and all kind of unnecessary things when you are with them. I know this, okay? Because what happens is they are a repackaged deal only for a short amount of time because they're only giving you their leftovers. So give them about 4 or 5 years. They was once 119, 20 pounds. They'll be 180 instantly. Okay? Because they did all unnecessary, atrocious behavior to their body. Okay? So don't go there. You can't go there. You can't challenge me on that one. Don't even try it. You know what finishes this argument is this thing called baby fat. Baby fat got so, you could say so popular and so accepted widely, especially in the West. They start making clothes called baby fat, even though they have their own, probably their own reason behind it. And they have a different meaning that I don't want to get into. Okay, because I don't waste my time with that type of clothing line when they do things like putting princess right in the middle of their buttocks so everybody can see. It's just complete nonsense. But there was a time they called baby fat. Okay, so you have someone say, well, the reason why I gain weight because of baby fat. I told you I can be a doctor if I wanted to. I'm not, but I can be real easy. I understand that the baby can do some damage to your body. Yes, the baby can. And a lot of women need to know this. You know, the terrible thing about, and don't get mad at Morpheus. It's y'all fault for not teaching y'all teenagers or your daughters. Y'all not telling them the facts. You know, y'all not talking to your girls and let them know there's bigger consequences behind having a painful labor. Okay. Or the teething 2-year-old. Okay. In the middle of the night or not being able to rest. There's more things that happen. There's bodily issues that you can occur. Okay. There's bodily problems. The baby will expand your body. Okay, there's some things, there's complications. There is health complications that women need to know of before they decide to say, I want to have a child, because what happened is they'll use that as an excuse. Okay, what happened is and especially if they have an unhealthy anatomy as it is, when they don't take care of themselves, they don't eat right. Okay, they've been donkey dunking and destroying their body. Then they have a child. Okay, and the child takes them over the hill. The child finishes the job. Okay, and now their body cannot be mended again. They're Humpty Dumpty and they can't be put back together. And you'll see them be like, wow, you look like Humpty Dumpty. Anyway, I'm being honest with you. Okay, don't get mad. I'm just telling you that's science. Okay, but what happens is this for the majority of them who use it for an excuse. Well, I had a child. I had 2 kids. Of course, I'm going to gain 50, 60 pounds. Yeah, but you got to understand this too. The anatomy of the female is different than the male. The male is more density and a little bit more muscle than it is fat. For the woman, have more fat than muscle density. So what happens is you're a lot more susceptible, not only to gaining weight, but losing weight is a little bit harder. And then what happens is your mommies and some fathers aren't telling you that. They're not telling you that. So you end up struggling harder, whereas he'll go to the gym and burn fat and calories in a matter of weeks. You got to be there in a matter of months and you're struggling. OK, and then eventually some girls drop off. They give up. No, oh, this is too hard. I just can't do it. God, it's just I can't do it. First of all, I'm addicted to the bad food, donuts, chicken wings and stuff like that. And, the tacos, I just can't help it. For some people, tortillas, I just can't help it. It just tastes too good. The corn, and then on the other half of it, it's like, well, I'm tired. I can't break away from my habits to go to the gym for a good 30 minutes to an hour. So they're like, oh, well, let's control the society. Let's control the society, make them accept us for who we are. We start coming out with stuff with baby fat. Or this is baby fat. Or here we go. I'm thick. I'm well built. I'm real built. I'm just thick like that. Okay. And then, of course, you got groups of guys, which I'm not saying, who will easily slop that up like a biscuit. Okay. But that does not excuse the fact that their body really isn't where it's supposed to be. Okay. So therefore, the excuse that they will use often is, well, I just gained weight because I had kids. And that's it. Okay. So the damaging effect is when you make it permanent by the contract, you get married, you settle down, and then eventually reality hits you. You can't jump out of the car because that hornet sticks you in the back. Agent Smith came to you. You didn't know it was Agent Smith because you're too busy saying, oh, that's thick. You're too busy saying, oh, well, okay, fine. I'm going to work out with you for a couple of months and I'll help you work out. I'll help you go to the gym. I'll be there with you. I'll go to the gym myself. Right? We're going to be a couple with this. We're going to go work out together. And y'all start having your arguments. She start having her troubles because pressure comes because she didn't protect her peace, freedom, and time. Okay. And now you begin to see the real Shangri-La. You begin to see the real Agent Smith underneath her. Okay. And then now she stopped going to the gym altogether. The only time she'd be in there is when she's trying to find a new fly who's going to come into her Venus. Okay. And you left out. Because you stood there like Neo instead of listening to him. We say, well, here I am to your face, right? You was like, oh, I'm just going to I'm going to overlook it. I'm one out of a million. Here we go. I'm one out of a million. It'll never happen to me. I'm going to be okay. And then there you go. You're single. Some of you been through that situation. You're single now. You've been through that and here you are. Now, you've been through a bitter divorce. You've been through a bitter relationship. You've been through a situation where you thought they were going to be everything they promised you that they were going to be. That was Agent Smith underneath a different flesh. It's talking to you. Oh, you can trust me. Trust me, Neo. What did he do? Why? Listen, this is the deep part about it. Why did he have to go in disguise to begin with? Because as he was in disguise, that was the only way those groups of people were going to accept them on the logos. That was the only way that when we were standing around the table and he was sitting there with the scars on his nose and his face, looking like somebody that was like us in the circle in the movie, The Matrix, right? Where he can go completely undercover. He was under disguise right in our face. Some of the people that were there knew that something was fishy. Something was up. Like, wait a minute, this ain't matching. Like, wait, what's going on? What's going on? This is strange. Like, what happened? They started thinking like, wait, this is kind of odd. And once the doctor figured it out, while he was sitting in the room, it was too late. It was too late. It was too late by that time. Okay. Don't let that happen to you when you are in a relationship with the person or with people that are around you. Oh, I want a long-term relationship with them. You have kids by them, right? The kids are now 8 years old, 12 years old. Next thing you know, they flip on you. See, I told you this in my other audio. Things just don't happen. We let it happen. You let your peace, freedom, and time get taken from you So therefore, you don't have the peace, freedom, and time to concentrate on your powers and your strength of defense, to build up your mind, to build up your infrastructure, to build up your spirit strength. So should Agent Smiths come your way to try to vamp off your life, what I tell you, you can bounce them off the wall. You can't do it. What y'all do is you get into a conditioned, engineered environment to accept low-hanging fruit, relationships, people, lifestyles, and you sign up for it and you say, I'm going to get married, and you stick yourself. Therefore, you drive down the highway. It's almost like this. It don't happen, but maybe in some countries or areas, depending on time of year, you drive down the highway and you see a nest of hornets. You roll down your window, okay, and you let the hornets fly everywhere. And you're like, oh, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And then one of the hornets sting you right in your back while you driving, what's that, 55 miles per hour. And you can't go nowhere. You're in the middle of traffic. You got a car on your left-hand side, on your right-hand side. Everybody's moving and you stuck in the back by a hornet. You know it's game over. You immediately know instantly it's the end of it's the end. It's over. The clock just stopped for you. So you have nothing but an immediate reaction. You got an immediate decision to make during that time. You got an immediate decision. And here it is. When you have control over yourself, here is what I teach you and why. When you value your peace, your freedom, and your time, when you stop and you do smell the road, when you say, I'm going to put down these mallets, these tools, these computers, listen, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go for a walk. You know, the hell with this. Just drop the stuff, walk away, and let nature be nature and live your life. When those situations come, nature gives you something that Agent Smith hates, that he distracts you of all the time. Why a lot of bombardment of information is being given to you constantly. Why are you being bombarded with negative people? Why he's constantly trying to come to you and make you like him, because he don't have a life. He don't have a soul. He don't have a focus. He don't have a future. And he wants that to be the same for you and in the entire human race, to be like him. Okay, so therefore, and no, I'm not talking about the devil. Stop the nonsense. Okay, I'm talking about your everyday people, because we are both God and the devil. Get over it. Look in the mirror if you want to look for that person. You are both. Okay, so that way you don't have no power over yourself. That's why he keep coming after you like that. So therefore, if you do control yourself, you do have a sense of the future, you do have calm to yourself, you've been meditating, you are spirited up, you are juiced with your own internal power, you've been resting well every day, okay, you've been eating well every day, you get in a situation like that, it's going to hurt, I can imagine. Okay, you're going to be crying for a little bit. There might be some tears rolling down your face. Your hands will be shaking while you're slowly trying to steer over to the shoulder of the highway. Okay, because you realize you are done for if you do something wrong, if you move wrong. Your car will veer a little bit. Okay, someone will be like, what's wrong with that driver over there? What's wrong with them? Yeah, you're going to veer a little bit. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of your turn lights going to be turning on. Wait a minute, is that person drunk? No, they don't know what's going on with you. They don't know what's going on in your life. You're in a situation at the time. The heat came to you. Pressure came to you of life. Right? You've been tested of the type of man or the woman you really are. Now the boat is rocking, as some people may say, but you steer it properly. You steer that thing slowly to the side of the curve. Then you get out and deal with it, where otherwise it wanted you to be in a compromised position. That's what happens when you let people of the Agent Smith and let man have power over you. That is to put you in a compromised position, because what did Agent Smith do to his people? Put them in a compromised position. When he came up to that lady, what's her name? The Oracle, in her kitchen, they were in a compromised position. When he came to Ghost, I think his name was Ghost. I could be wrong. No, it was a different name. Seraph, yeah. He went in the room where Seraph and the child was at. They was running from Agent Smith, but they couldn't go nowhere. They was in a closet like room or bedroom like area. He cornered them because he was in a position of power. Again, letting the man have power over you. And he knew it. That's why he was so calm and he bent down and spoke to the child, because he knew they were done for. They were finished. They was finished, and all they could do is surrender to his will, surrender to Agent Smith's will. That's what happens when you allow your peace, your time, and your freedom be taken from you because I just want to work for money. I just want to do what everybody tell me to do. This is my daddy. This is my mommy. This is my sister. This is my uncle. This is my honey. This is my wife. This is my husband. Whatever the case may be. Oh, this is my boss. And you're like, oh, I'm just going to do it. And then eventually, no matter how you spin your coin, eventually, because they are Agent Smith, because they're not doing much for themselves, because they didn't practice their peace, freedom, and time. Once they well run dry, okay, what's going to happen? They're coming for you. And that's exactly what Agent Smith did and usurped them. So what happens is that you have that same trait of Agent Smith. That's why he's able to control you. You got the same nonsense. I'm just going to work. I'm going to hustle. I ain't going to do for myself. I don't care. I'm going to go for tradition. I'm going to go for whatever the pastors say. I need prayer from the priest. Please lay hands on me. No, it's not. I'm just going to do it. Hubba, 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 hubba. When that pressure comes, it's over. It's over. Because that means when you neglect yourself, you don't have no self to control. So therefore, when that hornet stings you in the back while you driving, okay, you're going to lose control and there's ER on the side of the road. I can guarantee you that. Okay, police officers lined up on the side, ER, and an ambulance putting you in a stretcher because you don't know how to control yourself. And that's how life works. That's real. Listen, sweetheart and gentlemen, that's how real life works. That's the conditions that you will be put in when you let man take power over you, especially the wrong type of men. I'm not talking about men. I'm talking about human people who don't have their life in order. And it happens by bitterness because misery loves company. There's a reason why they are miserable, because some people choose that for themselves. And because their light is sucked out, they want yours too. That's the Cain and Abel situation. Abel was doing good, smelling good, doing right by God. And Cain did not like that. He didn't like that. He said, well, why are you, listen, why, God? Why are you taking care of Abel? What about me? What makes me so different? You know what? I hate Abel because I can't be Abel. I hate Abel because I'm working. Abel's not. He's free. I'm not free. Abel is happy. I'm not happy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go over there and make him just like me. I'm going to go destroy his Egypt. I'm going to go destroy his life. I'm going to go destroy his oasis. I'm going to go destroy his peace. And I'm going to come to him in peace. You see that? I'm going to destroy his peace by coming to him in peace. Say, oh, I'm your friend. I will never hurt you. I will always be there for the rest of you. I'm your best friend. I'm your best friend. I will never sleep with your wife, your husband, boyfriend, whatever. You know, that sort of thing, that story. I would never do it. Right. All to destroy your own altar and make you just like them. Nope. And there you go. Agent Smith put his hands on the shoulder of that person that he wants to change, and it happens. No different than vampirism. I don't have the energy, so I'm going to absorb your energy. Now you're just like me. Do you understand, my class? Do you understand? This is why you need to stay in my academy of wow men, because I teach you these things so that way you can be solid as steel. And I have more to come to you. I got more avenues to beat at this block, to chaff away at the machine, because I want you to be free. I want you to have peace. I want you to have time to yourself. So therefore, when you are in this situation, there will be no ambulance on the side of the road. It'll be you, flopping and flipping around and smacking your shirt out against the wall and scratching your back and trying to heal it with some whatever lotion or ointment that you have. Okay. But you'll live to see another day. A lot of us are not. And the reason why we don't, because we just don't understand what Morpheus is saying. So this is Leon C, aka Morpheus. Like it, share it, of course, subscribe. Donate to the channel on my Patreon. You got the connection, and get that book 2020 America Rise or Fall Hard by a hornet stinging them in the back. What a horrible way to go out. That's a horrible way to go out. That's horrible. Just thinking about it, it's terrible. But you'll be surprised it happens. But don't let it happen to you.